All right, we're live here. It is Saturday, March 29th, the third day of baseball starting up. We have a full crew today. I think we got, 5 members in here. Cobb's Corner, Mathwins, Brayton, and Rye. Cobb, Ryan, Brayton are moderators, and Mathwins is one of the owners as well. How's everyone doing today? Brayton, how you doing? How's this month going for you?
What's up, guys? Yeah, kind of a weird month. Started off real good. First week was up like 20 units, and then just tanked the last 2 weeks or so. But it's coming back. I'm up about 15 units now, so successful month so far. 3% ROI, I guess. So,
how's your volume been looking for baseball so far? We're only 3 days in, but
yep. What's that about baseball?
I said, how's your volume looking so far?
Not great volume. Not a ton yesterday, but a little bit on opening day. So
I'll make a quick update on our bots for MLB. Prop bots are still being worked on. We ran into a couple little issues, but those should be taken care of and fully running in the next couple of days. They're working for a couple books right now, like Fanatics and Ballybet, but we're still working on the other ones. And the other thing we're missing right now, something that we need to adjust in our code, is we're not picking up totals yet for the MLB, which we've kind of talked about, where we don't want to be going too crazy on betting MLB like the first week anyway. So not a big deal probably that we don't have access to all these lines, but it's a little update there. All right. I guess if, we could introduce a couple of the guys here just individually. I guess we can start with Cobb because he's one of the bigger members. He's starting to grow a pretty good following on Pickett. Cobb, tell us about how you kind of started with us and how it's going.
Yeah. So sports betting became legal in Kentucky here, I think, let's see, it was last October. And I was honestly just, when I started, I was just like, how when sportsbooks open, they give like free money, basically. Like it was like stupid promos, like college basketball, a team to score like 2+ points in a game, really like free money. So I started just with doing that. And then after all the promos ran out and stuff, I'd kind of just I didn't have any idea what I was doing. I was just degenning stuff. I was like tailing all these cappers and stuff, and I was doing okay, but I think it was, I can't even remember how I came in contact with SharpMoney, but I think it was one of your Pickett posts or something. You were on the trending page or something, and I kind of looked into your profile, then got into your YouTube channel and stuff, and it's kind of been history ever since, man. Ever since I've joined, it's been up and up outside of February.
Yeah, that's a really good story. How about you tell everyone about your February and just like how you bounced back and what the mindset was through that.
Yeah. It was honestly terrifying. I mean, I've had a lot of success. I've been scaling up and stuff, but February hit and I was kind of in my head. I think February I was down it was like 7 or 8 grand, and I was rocking like $150 unit sizes then, and back down to 100 and stuff. But yeah, I was kind of in my head because that was like kind of right when I started experiencing some brutal limits across all the sports books. So I was just like telling myself, well, this is how it's going to be. I don't know how to get around this and stuff. So I actually started getting into just like that. You'll see me in the Lotto's channel a decent amount, just because I just try to get stuff down. I still try to make smart plays and stuff where the value's there even for long shots.
Yeah.
But, I still try to push. I was gonna say I still try to push like bot volume and stuff. It's just like half the amount that I used to bet and stuff, but it still seems kind of worth it now for me still. But
gotcha. Yeah, I mean that's the one good thing with our bots is that it flags kind of these really low EV plays for the main market, and we can see the steam. So like I've been able to basically only focus on like betting into FanDuel because I can still get down $500+ a bet when it comes to like full game stuff. So it's like that's the big edge I think that we have here, is being able to keep like your main accounts and still use them, and like the limits are pretty high because we're playing so many main lines.
Yeah, completely agree there. With main lines, you got to be quicker on main lines. That's what I'm coming to find out here. It seems like main lines kind of move a little quicker and stuff.
Well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't think It depends on, like, you're never going to find like a 3 or 4% EV play on like a main line because no one's going to hang like that bad of like a full game spread because the market is efficient. But like, I think that a lot of these like 1% EV bets that are kind of steaming, like, stick around for longer than normal because we're probably like one of the only Discord groups that are hitting like 1% edges because everyone else is looking for, like, odds jam guys are probably have their filter set to 3%. Anyone using like Outlier probably has their filter set to 3%. Like, we're playing a low EV, so I feel like some of these actually stay around a little longer than normal. That's my opinion, honestly.
So you are hitting those low EV bets?
Yeah, I like.
Yeah.
So I stream, like, I do a stream with Outlier, twice a week there, and dude, I will toggle down. Like, I will be placing bets at like 0.1% EV. But I check Pinnacle Odds Dropper to see where the line's moving, and I always close so well. So, like, because you're not, like, even if you look at lines like over the course of a whole day, you could see something open and move like 50% in one direction or like 50 cents in one direction, but throughout that whole drop, there's never more than a 1% EV play in the market because the market is so efficiently moving so slowly towards the under. So it's like I was looking like if I can just get in while this market continues that way, like, it pays off. That's been my mindset, and like just being able to get money down.
That's interesting. Yeah, good to know.
And I still, like, this is my all-time chart. I have a 3.5% ROI. In the past 6 months, like, I haven't bet many props at all. I haven't really bet, just mostly mainline stuff and mostly just FanDuel.
Nice.
So, all right, we also got Rye on here. We'll talk about him. Everyone knows about Brayton a little bit. He's always on stream, but Rye was a day one Discord member, and you're, smaller bankroll that you started with, and now, I think you're rocking some pretty big units now. So get into that.
Yeah, it's a pretty funny story, honestly, because when I first, discovered, I had never heard of EV when I started betting, and I don't know why, for some reason I was so against it. Like, I didn't understand it, I don't think, and I was like, oh, what's the fun in that, But I kind of really started to open my mind once I started following you downs on Pickett, and from there it just really took off. Like, I joined your original Discord, and then I joined SharpMoney as soon as it started. Quickly became a premium member, like, I think the second week of April, and yeah, it's been a crazy journey, honestly. Like, I started with $6 units. I'm at 120 now, and honestly could be more, but I have always kind of preferred to be a little bit more conservative with it, and also plan on withdrawing some money. I got a vacation coming up and stuff, and all that. So, but I also, in the fall, was able to use money from my betting accounts to put a down payment on the car because I needed a new car desperately. Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been awesome. Super thankful that I found this Discord and really gave EV a chance and, like, actually listened to you guys. But yeah, it's cool, man. I'm also like Cobb and like most of you guys. I'm limited on a lot of my books at this point, so definitely try and get whatever I can down on FanDuel, but I've found ways also through the help of some of the other guys on the promo team to figure out ways to get money down. Like, I'm still actually able to get down a lot more than I expect a lot of the time on DraftKings, even with props. Usually, like, combination of like over under and the plus points and things like that. But obviously unders are a no-go at this point. So still try and hit main lines as much as I can as well. Kind of with you with that like 1% threshold. Like, I definitely, if I see steam on anything, I'm taking it. I pretty much bet everything QK, which I think maybe at some point I'll be looking at doing main lines at HK, just because, the props are going to dry up eventually, I think. But for now, I'm just trying to hammer it as much as I can. It's been an insane month. Probably going to end up being my best month ever, even if I have a couple bad days here to end the month. So, yeah.
That's the awesome story, especially with the when you said you got the down payment to get your car, like that was awesome. Now you're having a great month going into vacation. That's perfect too.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of my goal too. Is like, all right, like I've had a good year to start, and I was like, let's keep it going. Let's see how good I can do for March to like be able to take out some money and have a good time on my golf trip, and it's come to fruition. Like like I said, I think there's a pretty good chance it'll end up being my best month yet. And uh, yeah, I don't even know. It's kind of surreal, honestly.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. Like when I first started EV betting, this is 2 years ago now, I had a goal of making like $100 a month, and then just like absolutely blew that out of the water and realized like how crazy the potential is for sports betting and the growth. But yeah, dude, it's life changing. It's crazy. I actually just closed on a piece of land that me and my wife are hoping to build our next house on, and literally would not have been possible if I didn't make $60,000 in the last 2 years betting. Like, it just opens up so many opportunities for you if you can figure out how to EV bet correctly. All right, let's get Jeff. You got anything to add here? We haven't heard from you yet.
Yeah, I've got a crying 1-year-old in the background. I'll be in and out for a second, guys, until he goes down.
All right.
Time.
All right, cool. Yeah, just unmute yourself if you're ready to go. All right. I want to talk about the Edge card a little bit, because I've been using it for like a week or two. I know Brayton's using it. Jeff is using it. Cobb or Rye, have you guys looked at the Edge card or used it at all yet before I like go into it?
No, I actually heard about it a couple years ago when I first started betting. Like Edge Boost was kind of like a rewards program, I think, initially. And it honestly, at first it sounded sketchy, but like now it seems like it's become a whole new thing. So I'm honestly really interested in hearing what your experience with it has been.
Yeah, schemes in the chat. How's it going? Yeah, so I will talk about it, because I've probably pushed it off for a couple extra months as well, because I was kind of skeptical about it. But then we see like so many like big names in the industry are backing this card and like saying that it's trusted. It's a Visa card, so it's like it's insured. Like, you're not just going to lose your money. Like, it's owned by Visa, or they're
it's an FDI. So it's an actual checking account through Cross Rivers Bank. So it's FDIC insured up to $250, just like any bank account, right?
Yeah. So you're insured. Like, there's no risk of losing it.
Right.
So basically what it is you can deposit and withdraw into your sportsbook accounts pretty much every single day with this card. And you will get, once you move, I think it's $50,000 total, you'll get 0.5% cash back on every dollar you move back and forth. And I've been able to do it I've literally been only doing it for like a week. I've moved like 70K almost and made like $150 so far in a week, just literally moving my money back and forth. Now, like I said, I've only been doing this for a week, and I think I'm probably going to make a YouTube video about this for the month of April, because I'll just do it for the whole month and I'll have a really good idea about how to talk about this a little bit better. But right now what I'm seeing is FanDuel, you have to do like a 1x playthrough. So if I deposit $5,000 with them, I have to wager $5,000 before I can withdraw it, right? So basically every day I go into my FanDuel account, and I've been playing through quite a bit of money, like $4,000 or $5,000 a day on FanDuel. Whatever I played through, I just withdraw it and deposit it back in. Deposits are taking about 12 hours. So before I go to bed, 9, 10 o'clock at night, I withdraw it to the Edge card. It lands there in the morning and I deposit back in. Now, the other two books I've been using is DraftKings and Ballybet, and they have no playthrough limit. So like, I'm literally just moving like 5K in and out of DraftKings and Bally every single day without even playing through anything. I do try to make sure that I'm placing bets like in between me withdrawing and depositing, just so it doesn't look like it's actually just like money back and forth.
I was going to say, I'm sure Brayton can speak on the importance of that.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to look at, if you're just depositing just to withdraw, they're going to look at it from an AML standpoint, where they're looking at you trying to clean money through their system. So I would say you definitely want to bet it. Do it. It's a great project. Just take it legit, like a legit product where, put what you need, withdraw what you don't need, and just keep churning. And
So here's my mindset now. when I'm betting into FanDuel and I see a 1.5% EV bet, now in my eyes, it's a 2% EV bet, because when I place that money, I'm going to get a 0.5% back in cash. So to me, it's like, now I'm like betting even more because I know I'm getting cash back for it, which is kind of crazy. And at the end of every month, they literally just take your reward points and to put it cash into your account.
I mean, that's win or lose too. So really, it's probably even more than 2% if you're getting that 0.5% no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. So it's awesome. I think it's great.
Is it 0.5% across all sports books?
Yeah.
Depending on this.
So it's
for the most part, Cobb. Like I see in the chat, we have someone CDA Kalos or whatever speaking about it. But MGM, I've noticed you can't connect your MGM card. To your MGM account. He's saying Bet Rivers as well. I don't use it on Bet Rivers, but I know for MGM it won't accept it. Something I noticed on FanDuel, if you keep those deposits, if you just withdrawing constantly throughout the day, if it's under $1,000, so like $750, it's going to hit pretty immediate to your account. It's not going to take 12 hours. It almost looks like that $1,000 is probably their threshold to review.
Yeah.
So it moves pretty quick if you keep it smaller. I'm not moving huge amounts of money right now. What I'm doing is I've pulled all my money out and put it into my Edge Boost card, and kind of like you at night, I'll withdraw what's available, and then I just deposit what I need to where I'm actually using it. So I'm not depositing like $5,000 and then withdrawing $5,000. So it'll be like I might have 3 or 4 or 5 deposits per day at $500 or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do think it's not as much volume, so you're not earning as much, but it's a little bit more comfortable for me, just to kind of deposit as needed.
I was at first I was just moving like a few $100s because I was like, it kind of sketched me out. But now I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, like I might as well just be moving as much as I can here. So and the other thing, I don't know, Brayton, if you'll know anything about this, but I was kind of crunching some numbers, and I'm like, okay, I could easily make $10,000 in cash rewards this year through this debit card. And I was like, okay, do I need to claim that on income tax? And we're not going to give out tax, advice here. No one's claiming to be a tax expert.
You'll get a tax form from that bank.
Because what I was reading was that when you are collecting rewards for spending, you don't need to claim it. But
I guess it depends on how they're disclosing that. If it's a reward or if it's an interest-bearing account. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't know what their account disclosures look like, or how if it's rewards, it might not be taxable. But if it's just interest on, I don't know how they're doing it. But
we're not going to make assumptions.
You might get a tax document on it, but I don't think it'll be anything crazy.
Gotcha. Here's a good question, which I kind of thought of too. Like, how does the constant churn of like withdrawing and depositing look, on your account? You don't want to get like flagged for, or get your account looked into. So I would throw this out there. Like, I probably wouldn't be doing this unless I was limited hard on every single book, because if I was kind of skating under the radar with no limits, then I don't want to bring any attention to my account. But if DraftKings is going to let me bet $20 max on a bet, then I'm going to try to move as much money through them as I can. And if they already know, they already got my account flagged for, being a sharp better. So I'm not too worried about that.
I sort of agree. And my FanDuel and my Caesars are both fairly healthy. So that's kind of why I'm looking at it almost like they promote it almost as a responsible gaming technique. And so I'm kind of looking at it like that, as in just depositing what I need as I need it and withdrawing when I don't. Hopefully that'll not look as suspicious of just constantly churning money and not playing through it all. But those are the two accounts that are healthy for me. DraftKings, I'm still spending some. I'm getting some money down, but it's not a ton. So I'd never keep more than maybe $1,000 in that account and just withdraw it as I can, and then deposit as needed. So
that's where I'm at with Bally, dude. I just deposited $100 in there for the first time in months, and I already lost it all. Like, I just can't keep a balance there. They flagged me immediately, like within 2 weeks, because I was just back last summer. I was just hammering props as soon as they opened in Massachusetts.
Yeah,
that account is toast.
I've been using Bally. I mean, you can see right here on my screen. Like, hold on. All these bets were on Bally yesterday. I can place like $100, $150 on a lot of their markets. I have yet to place a single prop bet on them, and I basically just only play main lines, and I'm still being able to get like $100, sometimes $50 down, depending on the market. But
Yeah, I wish I had that foresight.
exactly. It's all like, I mean, that's with everything though. Like even looking back to when I started, like I didn't take advantage of the promos like I should have. Like there's always things that you're going. That means you're learning. If you wish you did something different in the past, that means you're learning. But
Yeah, it's just is unfortunate because there's so few sports books in Massachusetts that it's like to burn one that quickly is a bummer. But it's like yeah, it even I think I did a ladder yesterday of totals on the Pirates game, and it was overs. It was over 7.5, over 8, and over 8.5. They let me get like $23 down on each, and the game ended at 7. So there you go.
yeah, right. And then now you're out of money again. Here's a quote. I was talking about these like low percent bets that are steaming. So I still look at like a half Kelly on these low EV percentage bets, but they're only like some of these bets are like 1 unit max because the EV is so small. So I typically just like round up to the nearest half or full unit on these. Depends on how hard it's steaming, really, how confident I want to be. All right, that's good. We could look at a couple plays here. Unless anyone has anything else to add, I'll hop over to the Discord. We can scan some markets.
I just wanted to play like devil's advocate on this a little bit and see what you guys think about this, because like as far as like the churning money in and out of accounts goes, like I feel like I've heard from some people in the industry, specifically with EV, that with depositing and withdrawing more consistently is sort of more of a square look. So I'm curious what you guys think about that, because like I don't worry about it, honestly, just because like I feel like that is something that your average square better might do a lot, like bet their account down to 0 and then deposit, and then if they win, withdraw. So I'm just curious what your thought is on that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was always under the assumption like just don't be withdrawing and depositing that much because it could get you looked at. But like you said, I feel like it is kind of a square thing to do, is to like just move your money like in and out like every week. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe the deposit is a big factor.
I think it also depends on volume. If you're a square, you're not depositing and withdrawing thousands of dollars every day, right?
Yeah.
If you're a square, you're probably depositing a couple hundred, either playing it or withdrawing it, just so you have your money in your bank account. So I think volume definitely plays a key in it. But I think you're right, Cobb. I think from a like what squares versus sharps do, square bettors are definitely your degens are going to be withdrawing and depositing much more often.
I don't know whether to be honored or offended that you think I'm Cobb, but
is that Rye? My fault, Rye.
I don't know if I should be honored or offended.
I'm going to plead the fifth on that one because I'm going to get myself in more trouble than I'm already in.
I'm just messing around. I love Cobb. That's why.
I think it kind of depends too, because like I was saying with FanDuel, you withdraw a bigger amount, it goes through a 12-hour approval process. If it's smaller amounts, it's immediate, so they're not looking at it. So I think it depends on volume, like Jeff said.
I even have like crazy limits, or not the craziest limits from what I've seen from some of you guys on DraftKings, but I'm getting limited pretty substantially there these days, and like my withdrawals and deposits are so fast there still, it's crazy. Like even if it's like 1K, it's like that day, a couple hours.
Yeah, FanDuel's pretty. I mean, DraftKings is good. FanDuel's actually the slowest, I think, so far.
Yeah, Caesars was quick as hell the other day as well.
So I also wonder if your rewards level in a certain book has a play in it too, because I know we were talking to Sigma the other day, and they actually put a playthrough on his DraftKings account. Like me and Robbie, I don't know what your reward level is, but like I'm one of the higher reward levels in DraftKings. So I wonder if they honor higher deposit withdrawal limits because of that. And if you're a real low reward level in their system, if you get kind of hit with a playthrough.
Yeah. I think maybe part of it, and that's kind of why I've been trying to bet with like DraftKings, like even at small limits, just to like make sure my account has action so that I'm able to like withdraw. But I think Sigma was limited so far down where he basically just like didn't use his DraftKings account at all, and he was just kind of moving back and forth. Like, so
okay.
I don't think he was like, I don't know, I'm just trying to be active on DraftKings to justify like moving the money.
Gotcha.
But like that's just all guesswork.
Yeah.
So here, like this is one of the plays that this isn't like a great. I wouldn't say this is a great play, but it is 2.4% EV. This is the Spurs plus 8.5 for first half spread. Pinnacle and FanDuel are pretty much flatlined here. But it was one of those plays that now I'm looking at this as, hey, if I'm gonna wager on FanDuel and I'm gonna be able to withdraw and deposit this money that I bet and get a 0.5% also. Now I'm looking at almost a 3% edge on this bet. So like these are the plays that I'm kind of definitely taking now, even the smaller ones.
So can I play devil's advocate with your thinking here?
Yep.
Like to me, I'm not lowering my threshold. I'm just adding EV. Like if I'm playing a 2% edge, I'm not going to drop to 1.5% just because I get the edge boost. I'm going to take that 2% and just make it a 2.5. Like I don't want to decrease the quality of my plays. At least this is just the way, like this is the first time I've heard you talk about this, Dime, and I think it's a really good conversation to have. But like my first instant reaction is I shouldn't be lowering my standard. I should just be kind of raising my ceiling. Don't lower my floor, but raise my ceiling is a better.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I can see it kind of both ways there. I mean, you don't want to be placing bad bets just because you might be getting, like if you're just going to place bad bets and lose your money, then you're not going to have any money to turn through. So yeah, I get not like lowering your standards just because you're getting a 0.5% extra.
Shout out Buffalo Jack, daily double mention.
Yeah, nice. Some tennis ping. Dude, I was up at like 5:30 this morning and DraftKings had some like 10% EV tennis pings going on.
I saw those.
I felt like for a while when the DraftKings bought free. Is it still free? The DraftKings?
Yeah, still is free. Yeah.
So these are available
incredible.
to everyone.
But right whenever y'all did it, all you were seeing was tennis. It was just like, oh, so like the tennis spot's free at this point.
Yeah. DraftKings is just so bad at tennis.
I miss being able to get real money done on tennis.
All right, I'm gonna try.
I still take my $4.
Yeah. I mean, I do when I can, but yeah, it's like day before. It's like forget it.
I feel like tennis is what got my DraftKings account nuked because I was dropping like
for me it was
$600
100% props.
Yeah,
it was definitely NBA props. Because I was crushing them on the morning grind for like a month straight.
Same here. Yep.
So thanks for that, Jeff.
Yeah, well, hopefully
you're welcome.
It was worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it in the end. These high. I don't think I'm touching these ones. Like this Duke, Alabama one. We see Circa line was at -300, and it's weird to see these alt lines for Circa, but since they're such big events, they're offering some alt lines. But they've moved from -300 down to -125 on this under, so it's kind of indicating, some action coming on the over. Someone has asked the question too. There was like a 20-cent drop from like -280 to -260, and the difference in 20 cents at -300 to -280 is way different than a move from -120 down to +100. It's like the longer the odds, the less the cents move in that movement. So if you see like a big movement or 10-cent movement from like -300 to -290, it's really not that big of a move compared to like a 10-cent move kind of around that even money range. But overall, this market's definitely not going the right direction.
I've been hitting all of them on ESPN, like every one that I can. ESPN, they up my limit just for the tournament, I guess. I get like 350, and so I'll just take them all.
It's nice that they've actually been letting us get real money on those on ESPN.
I might have to look into that because I've kind of been ignoring them.
Yeah, it's a $250 max from what I can tell. when
Like
August
I'll take this one because I kind of moved in the wrong direction, but the 5% EV.
I think I'm on that at the under 162.5, I think.
So yeah, I mean, me personally, especially with those alts, I'll usually look at the overall steam on the main line before I consider betting it. Like, usually we'll look at like the past 24 hours or something, just to kind of see like where the market overall is moving, and if it's trending in the wrong direction at all, I'll usually just leave it alone. But
Yep.
it's like yesterday, I think I was on Tennessee, Kentucky under 149.5 at minus 180, and I was actually sweating that at one point. It came through, it cashed, but I was worried for a minute there. I was like, man.
Yeah, I had that too. It was looking really good early on, and then it got close.
Yeah, see, I took the under 162.5 at minus 190, and right now it's at minus 180. So it's definitely not trending the right way, but I've been taking them.
Yeah, like it seems like the EV percentage is pretty high. So, well, here's an over because we were just looking at that Duke, Alabama, and we were saying it's probably steaming towards the over. This is first half. I mean, it's a straight to circa. They're at the first half total 83.5 minus 110. We take that extra 2 points and we're getting plus 142. Our bot's putting this at about a 2.5% EV play. So I'm going to take this one.
Yeah, I got over 81.5 last night from the bot at minus 120.
Minus 120, yeah. So yeah. Plus 136.
I took the full game over as well for that game from the bot.
Nice. Yeah, this moved off this number, so that'll probably clear in a minute.
Those are practically like NBA totals for games like that. When it's Duke, Alabama, they're such high octane offenses.
Yeah, they could put up.
They can actually score those numbers, even though it's scary to see the numbers that high for college.
Here's a DraftKings prop play, and this is an over, so we might actually be able to get some money on it. This is one I would consider playing here. AJ Johnson over 9.5, minus 105. FanDuel's at minus 122. BetOnline minus 129. Pinnacle minus 127. Overall market kind of seems like it is slightly trending down, and DraftKings is just much higher than the rest of the market. So let's see what I can actually get down on this prop. Still good. $34, which is about the most I'll see.
So what's Dimes? What is the odds on 10 plus?
Good call. Let me look at it.
Because if it's more down there too.
Yeah, if that was minus 110, what I would do is I would bet both for whatever they'll give me.
That's a good play. Let me check it out. All right. Wizards Brooklyn. Player points. So it's minus 115 for plus 10.
That's a stretch
for
sure, but I would like look at the straight DVig to pity, and if it was still like a couple like 2% EV, I would probably still do it. But I think I look at it a little differently with props, especially where I've been limited lately. So
Pinnacle is minus 127, so it's probably not going to be good to Pinnacle straight either.
Yeah, I think it just moved down. The over 9.5 is at minus 115 now.
Well, maybe both the plus 10 was actually at minus 105, but before I looked at it, it was dead. So good play there. We got to that minus 105. It's at minus 115. That's what we're looking for. All right, here's one that I already hit. Oh, we got a couple of baseball pinging too. So this is a good play, and I've hit. This was pinging like alt lines all day, but here's one of these low EV plays, 1%. This is a full game spread. Pinnacle has been trending slightly down. It's only like probably a 5-cent move, 1% EV. But these are the plays I'm on. Even seeing FanDuel drop their odds, getting closer to Pinnacle, it gives me some confidence to take this one. But low edge here. I can see why people might hold off on it.
I just want to say real quick, who is this Rye guy? Because this is not the same dude that joined the Discord a year ago. My man's just spitting knowledge.
Yeah, I know, right?
Looking at
I've
alt
been-
lines.
I've been grinding, dude. I've been grinding for real, but it's
Hey,
been awesome. Like I learned so much from you guys and from another EV Adam just over the past year. It hasn't even been a year, guys.
Well, that's the funny thing with this. Like, I think that the number one thing is like if you are just like passionate and like want to learn, it makes learning so much easier. First of all, so like
it's
really
huge. It's everything.
yeah, it's like if you have no passion towards it, you're not going to learn. Like for me, like any downtime I have, like I'm listening to podcasts, like YouTube videos, like it's because I'm just like obsessed with learning about it. And the industry is still young, where it's like, Rye, you've only been doing EV betting for like a year, but you're kind of like, I'm not going to say you're a seasoned veteran, but in this space, like you're kind of probably like one of the more knowledgeable guys now when you look at it big picture.
I mean, shit, man. I don't know if I agree with you, but I'll take the compliment.
I mean, it's just such a new space. Like if you talk, like if you meet someone out in real life, like if you mention plus EV betting, like no one's ever heard about it. So you're a pioneer in this space.
And I'm trying to get people on it, man.
That's
people that I think can really do it. It's definitely you got to be disciplined. Like that's the most important thing that I feel like I learned is like anytime I stray from the path is when I have a really bad time. So
yeah, that's what we always say when you're going through the down stretches, like just go back to the basics and like just reassess what you're doing, and it usually fixes itself. Because usually when I feel like, at least for me, whenever I go through like some real bad runs, it's because I'm trying something like extra or different that I think might have an edge, and it ends up most of the time it just like hurts me in the end.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, Jeff has done some damage on some trial errors.
I think
Tell
for the
me
most
about
part, it just needs to be fun. If you have fun doing it, you're gonna take it serious. You're gonna learn. It needs to be for you, and you need to enjoy it.
That's so true, Brayton.
Man, it made it a lot more enjoyable once I started EV betting and started winning, though.
Well, yeah, winning is fun. I mean, if we were doing this every day and we were losing, I probably wouldn't last too long.
Like I was just treading water for like the better part of a year coming into this. Like I looked at my past charts and like the year before I started EV betting, like the first year that it was legal in Mass, I made $17. So it's like I didn't lose any money, but it's not exactly exciting,
all the promos that they gave you when you signed up to, like if that's how they get you though. Like they sign you up, you get all these promos, and then over the course of a couple months, you're probably up a little bit, or like worst case scenario, you break even just because of so much of the money that they basically gave away. Like when it launched in Massachusetts, it was every single book was like win $50 if the Celtics hit a 3 tonight. And it was like every day for like 2 weeks straight. It was just like they probably gave out thousands of dollars, and people just burned those promos. And
it was like if Purdue scores 1 point plus 100 max $100 bet.
Yeah,
it was like insane.
And somehow I was still down $1,000 per year before finding this place.
Right.
Well, that's how they get, because they make you think you're awesome, like you're doing so good because you have like 5 or 6 of those bets and then like your other bets, and you still end up on like up because of those like freebies. And you're like, oh wow, I'm pretty good at this actually, and then over time you realize maybe not.
Exactly. It's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow, especially when you're so into the sport. Like if you just have a lot of knowledge about, the NFL, and to like admit that you like can't bet the NFL and win with your own like research is like people just can't come to that conclusion. That's I
can barely bet the NFL and win with profitable strategies.
I know, right? Here's I don't know if this is still alive, but I just placed this. I actually got $75 on this, which is pretty big. But
yep.
This tennis
is this today's match?
Yeah, this is huge. Like minus 108 down to minus 135. Huge swing. FanDuel's been sitting at minus 150. I mean, DraftKings sitting at minus 115, just not acknowledging Pinnacle steaming, and they don't care. The tennis traders at DraftKings are just sleeping. Like this is 8% EV. Game spread. I don't think I can ladder game spreads on DraftKings, but I'm gonna try.
Yeah, no, they don't.
And that one's dead too.
We have a good question in the chat from Gary. If you want to look at it.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna go through some of these. Is there any other questions? All right. Do you guys have a high and low threshold for odds for wagers, or do you take regardless of EV? So our bots are programmed to flag minus 200 to plus 200 odds. And, that's the standard range that I typically play in. When I first started betting, the max I would play was plus 150. And that's kind of what I recommend for new EV bettors, just because you start betting over plus 150, you're going to just start getting some variance and some losing streaks. Yes, you might not be, you might be leaving some value on the table by not taking these longer shots, but the ride's going to be smoother. That's basically my take there. Under plus 200 is kind of where I live personally. You guys have odds thresholds that you kind of stick to, or?
It really depends for me. Like I've definitely become more open to higher odds since limits have been more of a thing, but I'd say for the most part, I usually stick in that range too. Honestly, the limit for me is more on minimum odds, like minus 200. I'm not going past minus 200.
Yeah.
Especially because every time I do, those are the bets that lose, and I just get really like mad because it's like you're not expecting a huge return on a bet like that. But that's just my personal preference. Like I know plenty of people will bet, like minus 2,000 if the value's there.
EV Adam.
Yeah, exactly.
Laying I've seen him lay some crazy bets.
He said like minus 4,000 once. I'm like, dude, that's
you're alone on that one.
Insane.
Yeah. Jiggy said variance kicking his ass. Yeah, I mean, if the variance is getting you, then just make sure you're beating the closing line. Make sure your bets are good plus EV play. So definitely pick it out and make sure you have probably 60, 70% CLV beat. If you're not doing that, then it might not be variance. You might just be placing bad bets, to be honest. But if you're beating the CLV at a high rate, then I would say just continue doing what you're doing. And it's just part of the process is getting your ass kicked sometimes. It sucks, but it's just how it works.
I think that like in those types of situations, like the trends are so important, like with the bot too, but I definitely think I've talked a lot about I'll look at other sources as well just to kind of confirm like the trends that I'm seeing and like the edge that I'm looking for. But like definitely a good place to start is just like if you're just firing bot bets, like anything that Penny or anyone's trending up, don't touch it is my recommendation. Anything that's trending down, hammer it. And I think over time you'll level out.
Yep. Like this bet right here. This is something I'm not touching. The market's moving against it. Pinnacle's moving up. So I'm not touching this one. I think Chap would probably have something to say about it, but he's not here to defend himself. But you would be betting this probably, even though it's moving against you.
So while we're on this, I'm going to bring this up because maybe this is just random crappy luck or whatever the last week or so for me, but I feel like in the last week I've had 5 or 6 bets that have had a really solid downtrend. And I'll say this with acknowledging that it wasn't early morning. So we had some time till tip off or whatever it was, whatever sport. And I looked kind of close to game time to see how I do with CLV, and I just got wrecked on the line, the actual line, not the odds. The actual line bumped a point or a point and a half against me. And I'm going, what the hell, dude? That chart was good.
What sport, Cod?
FanDuel totals, NBA.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I was on the same place.
Were you on an over? Do you
I'd
remember?
have to go
So the
back
biggest
and
thing,
look.
this time of year with NBA, so totals are probably whenever there's injury news, people are resting players. There's a bunch of guys questionable. Typically, when players don't play, your more efficient players are not on the floor, so your totals are going to go down. So especially with NBA, this type of time of year, you got to be really careful with just plays in general because of, or just be careful with who's on the injury report, who may or may not play, because if you're taking overs, even if there's a big trend down in the market at the moment, if somebody gets called out, and it may be they're not even on their injury report. NBA is just screwy this year, but if they get called out, that total is going to drop just because you're going to have less efficient players on the floor for more time.
Yeah, I would say I'll kind of play reverse here, but when we're EV betting, like the whole point of why this was appealing to me in the first place is because I don't have to know the injury reports. I don't have to look up like who's questionable. And I think your mindset has obviously changed because you're looking at this every day now. But for me, it's like if the market is moving that direction, then it's sharp bettors or the book itself like starting to lean one way. But I do think this late in the year, with like how the NBA's and just people resting all the time and like just games don't matter, is like you're going to see some stupid swings against you and for you betting into these lines. So I was on the same thing on those FanDuel totals like a couple days ago where I was looking back and I had like negative 20% like CLV on a couple of them. But then I also had like a couple with like plus 20%. So it was like just all over the place. So I think for the most part, I'm probably waiting closer to game time and maybe closer to those injury reports to like put bigger bets out. Like I'm probably still going to hit some of these early if I see some movement, but I think it's just like the swings are just so unpredictable with how the NBA is.
So I'm hitting all the downtrends. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think in the last like month and a half, I've noticed my CLV has not been where I want it to be. And I think it's a lot to do with like we're talking about the NBA totals. I'm taking them early. I will take them late, but I do see some line movement against me, even though the trend at the time was really good. So I think it's just been the last month has been a little bit more difficult than it's been the rest of the season. Yeah,
I agree there. If you can bet right when the injury reports come out and you get those quick drops, like you're definitely going to beat the closing line. Like it's just the market betting in the injury news. And we see it a lot of the time too, is where like you'll see Pinnacle drop 20 cents on a total or something before a player's even ruled out. And that's because there's probably someone betting into Pinnacle at huge limits with that information before it's even like public. So a lot of times, like I'll see a line steam one direction and then the news breaks like 5 minutes later. So it's good to look out for that too. But here's a question from Megan. How much do you guys think taking smaller market bets like tennis affect account limits? So yeah, I think so. Small markets in general, whether it's tennis is kind of probably a larger market, but you can find some big edges there. But we're talking small markets. Like if you're finding edges on, Korean baseball, college baseball, minor league stuff, ping pong, whatever it is, the books are going to catch on real quick that you have an actual edge there. And you will probably be limited much quicker. I'm not too worried about tennis. I know DraftKings has laid some really terrible lines for tennis, so they might pick up on you pretty fast there. But I would stick to, like, if you're trying to save an account, then stick to main lines. Like even playing props is sometimes going to get you limited really fast. So yeah, I would stick to main lines. Unfortunately, the biggest edges are on the small markets. So it's kind of tough to just ignore those. So, everyone does play the props and everyone does play the small markets when they're starting up because they're trying to play the best edges. But yeah, I think, it definitely affects limits. Whether you think it's worth avoiding to make your account last longer, I guess that's kind of up to debate.
I'll say this about tennis. I think I do think it's what got my DraftKings account nuked. I was betting pretty large into DraftKings. Don't send I look back and I was sending plays to the trading team for review when I wasn't limited. I wouldn't do that again. I would certainly just lower my dollar amount and not send it to be reviewed. After a couple of reviews, I was limited. So
I didn't even know
got me.
They had that you could get your stuff reviewed.
Yeah. So like I was playing, 2-3 unit plays. So you're talking $600. They accepted the first few, and then after that, it was kind of like limits. So I would say don't do that. But
the other thing I'll say too is just talking on like small limits and even like smaller wager sizes. We talk about this too, is like if you're a $5 bettor and you're like slamming tennis, you're slamming props, like you might have severe limits on your account, but you're just not hitting those limits yet because you're only betting $5 at a time. So those catch up to you sometimes too, where you might think, you're not limited yet because your $5 bets are still good to go, but your real limit probably dropped from like $500 max bets to like 40, but you just haven't seen it yet. So another thing there too, where sometimes I recommend not even, I don't know, if you can start your bankroll at a high number, then that's ideal. But a lot of people don't want to dive into EV betting with betting large amounts because they're not familiar with the concepts. But like if I was to make brand new accounts, like, hitting them with starting with $200 units versus, when I started, I had $10 units would make a massive difference.
Yeah. The thing I would say about the small markets is I think Rye mentioned this earlier, is I think it was props that did it in for me on DraftKings specifically. I will say that it seems like just across the retail books, FanDuel is the best in terms of limits. They just have like general percentage limits. I think most of us here in this chat are probably at 10% limits. So like if any non-limited bettor is at a whatever their general limit is for a market, we're at like 10% of whatever that limit is. But there's a reason that I kind of stick to, if you follow the sharp call outs and stuff and you see some random like international basketball plays, you'll notice they're all on FanDuel. And there's a reason for that. And I don't play any of the smaller markets on any other books now. I just stick to FanDuel.
Yeah, it's probably the only thing you can get money down on.
Yeah, props and CBA was probably what got me on MGM, because I was finding some insane Chinese basketball edges on MGM for a couple weeks and hitting those real hard. So
international basketball is where it's at, man. I'm looking. I just pulled this up. I was talking about it. The European and Asian tag that I have, we're at 21 plays right now on my tag, and we're 16-5 with a 40% ROI.
That's solid.
It's crazy because like the penny steam will like it'll push the line like 4 or 5 points.
Yeah,
and, like, these retail books will just be asleep at the wheel. It's like sometimes I wonder like why do they even post these lines if they're not paying attention? But
right,
yeah, they're just not going to take much action on them, I guess, and they don't have to worry about it.
They assume that until we come through.
I know, right? They get hit for $10 100 times when it starts adding up.
They probably also do it to identify you faster too.
Yeah,
I always wonder that as well,
because they know that only the people who really know what the fuck they're doing are going to be hitting those lines at those prices.
Yeah. About this, anyone want to play this Reds one?
This isn't an obligatory play for me, man. We're going to the game today. I've got a couple guys from the Discord I'm going with. Justin Verlander's washed up pitching for the Giants. Now that I said it on live stream, he's probably going to go six innings pitched.
Don't
like
you speak
Ks,
like Justin about. That's a Tigers legend right there.
Yeah.
Show some respect.
I'll take it.
I'll take this.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab it too. We need we're falling into that trap of just betting it because it's a new sport. But
I'm not gonna lie, I'm heavy on the Giants today.
It's such a small QK.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean that's why it's there. Right? Let's see. I think we can move the market by
Yeah, who's pitching? Who's pitching for the Reds?
Nick Lodolo.
Okay, I can get behind him.
Nice to see 3 sharps here too. I know it's a small EV, but
true.
Nice.
Yeah,
I got 4 lines on a graph.
Yeah, so like to bookmaker, it looks real good. If you just look at bookmaker, and Pinnacle has dropped a little bit. So
anyone know what bookmaker limits are for MLB? I know like for NBA day of, they usually end up being even higher than penny.
I'm not sure. We were talking about that last stream and wanted to kind of gather like a little outline for. Well, Circa released what their limits were, right? I know Jeff sent something out. Not this Circa Jeff.
I didn't look at that too closely, but they did release it. Here, I'm gonna look on Pinnacle. On Bookmaker. So I know some people, their Bookmaker account got shut down because they weren't betting into it, but mine's still active for some reason.
Oh, you made an account just to check their odds.
Yeah. Some people got shut down because they knew they were doing that specifically. Like Cobb, didn't that happen to you?
No, I'm actually looking at it right now. I still got my account. It looks like for this spread, it's 10K.
Yeah, 10K on Reds minus 1.5.
I mean, that's pretty good limits for
Yeah.
this early in the. I mean, when's this game start? Actually, 3. So we're not that far from game time, I guess. Oh, 4:10. Yeah.
I'm curious. Let me see if I can. Actually, they won't show me this on Pinnacle, will they?
I will throw this out here. We are running, a crazy good promo until I think tomorrow. We're ending it, end of the month. But basically, you just email us what price you're willing to pay for our product, and we either, we'll work with you and get you in. Basically, what we're doing is we're not denying anyone, but if you want to come in and see our product for $10 a month, like we'll give it to you for a month or two at $10. So don't be afraid to shoot whatever offer you have at us. We're really just trying to get people in, get your experience for a month or two, and then hopefully when that time period is over, you will have grown your bankroll a little bit, learn something, and then you can justify like the full payment. But I'll throw our email in here. If you want to send us an email with an offer, we can get you started on any plan for basically whatever price you think is fair, and we can work together with you. We've had a lot of people take advantage of it. A lot of new customers come in. So I think it's a really good promo. Spurs still pinging. Pacers still going this direction. A little quiet. Wonder if this play is still good on Bally.
Good for about 350.
It sucks that your account's like that. Let's see what I can actually get down.
On NHL, no chance, man.
I might be able to get 50 on this.
I think NFL is the only thing that I was able to get more than like $50 down on anything.
That's the one awesome thing with the NFL is like, personally, I stopped looking at DraftKings too much throughout the year, and then NFL comes around, and all of a sudden, DraftKings has taken $500 wagers on sides and totals, and their props you can get down $200 on. Like everything just opens up for the NFL because limits are just so high there. The volume is much lower. Obviously, there's only, each team plays one game a week, but the limits are much better. So kind of a little trade-off there. But yeah, I already miss football.
I'm excited about baseball, man. I really am.
Dude, yeah, I mean, baseball was so fun. And I feel like we had really good time betting baseball last year. It's been good.
Yeah, October was insane. Like that was my first month that I was just like, oh my God, what is happening? Like that was after that was when I was able to do the down payment on the car. And then that was in November, and then December was horrible and had me reassessing all my life choices.
Trading the car in for a couple of bucks.
And then the first 2 weeks of January continued like that, and I was just like, is this my life now?
Yeah.
And then it completely turned around since then, and I've already surpassed last year's profit. So
yeah, that's awesome. I mean, everyone goes through this, like the first year you're doing it, maybe even past a year, is like you will, every downswing you have, you still, like, as much as not to question yourself, you still end up questioning yourself, like, is this the right thing to be doing with my money, or blah, blah, blah. But once you experience it so many times, you don't even think about it anymore on those losing streaks.
Yeah, something that helped me with taking some of the emotion out of it too, which I mean, obviously, like I still love watching games, so I'll throw them on, sometimes, but I'm less like, oh, I bet on that, I should watch it. Like there's so many more games now where I just like don't really pay attention anymore, and just kind of see what the end result is. And that's definitely helped me a little bit with removing some of the emotion with the losing.
Yeah. For me, it's like when you have 50 bets out there every day, like to sweat one bet just doesn't make any sense. So like if I'm watching a game, like I really don't care if my bet wins or lose. Like it just doesn't matter to me because it's one bet. Like I can kind of remove myself from that. Or even like sometimes like if I go to like a Patriots game and I have a lot of money on the other team, like I can still go to that game as a Patriots fan and be rooting for the Patriots to win and say like, screw my bets. Like knowing that, you know, I'm treating this as kind of a business, like the money's on the right side, but man, I hope the Patriots still win and I'm still happy, like either outcome. A lot of people might take offense to betting against their team, but I'm all for it. If the
I never do, but of all days today I did because I was going to the game. I saw Math wins daily double, and I was like, oh, bro, can't do it. It's got the Giants.
Here's a question in chat here. What books are considered sharp for MLB props? Props in general for the MLB is kind of a crapshoot. I think the easiest one to kind of identify, I think pitcher props, we've done pretty well with like Pinnacle, FanDuel, BetOnline, Sharp, like that kind of a combo. But when it comes to hitter props, I mean, really just kind of a market average is what I would say. What do you guys think about that?
I would say like I've been it's been a shift for me for with penny and props. Like I used to, for whatever reason, I feel like 3 or 4 months ago I always kind of thought penny and props didn't really go together, like they were just mainline sharps. But the more I've kind of played them over the past few months, they seem to be pretty solid, especially kind of like early in the day. They seem to drop markets like the night before, and it seems like mostly the market moves towards penny kind of in the morning.
Yeah, I think we probably ingrained that in your head a little bit, or it's like Pinnacle isn't sharp in the props, but I do think I've kind of moved back towards that, where it's like obviously their main lines are much sharper, but yeah, I feel like Pinnacle is still like a top book to use for a DVig. But for a while, I think a lot of people just assume that you can do like a straight Pinnacle DVig and, you know, make money no matter what. But I think that's what kind of killed a lot of people. And that's kind of why we stopped recommending just Pinnacle. But I think early in the morning, you guys are finding I've been playing a little bit in the morning, finding some spots to Pinnacle. But if you can look at the movement and you're getting good movement, then yeah, you can take them.
Yeah, I definitely trust Penny for that with props as well, like particularly NBA, but I've been looking at them for MLB so far too, obviously super early, but it's usually just like looking for a big drop with Penny and then the market kind of following suit or at least trending in the same direction.
Yeah. Here's
anybody up for a late morning grind player prop?
Yeah,
I'm going through. Let's just looking through my model right now. I like Bam out of Bio under 22.5. You can get it at -118 on FanDuel right now.
FanDuel, let's go.
Rush there and see how quick this line moves.
Yeah, I got to run there before Cobb and all them bet it.
Just disclaimer, since it's a stream play, he'll drop 30 tonight.
Yeah, right.
But I like it. Market's moving our way. FanDuel is actually kind of the one that's left behind in terms of the market movement. So I like it.
So what was it? Bam over 22.5 points?
Under, buddy. So like when you're looking at the sharp books here, other sharps have moved towards the under. FanDuel hasn't had a price change since 8:30 this morning. So I like seeing that, the fact that other books are moving towards the under and FanDuel is kind of slow to join the crew moving towards his under.
Nice. Does that ever scare you though with FanDuel because we think that they become sharper later in the day?
Not right now. Well, it's still pretty early in the day, and I guess for me, if it was 2 hours before game time, yeah, I'd be a little bit more hesitant. But the fact that they haven't moved since 8:30 and the other books have moved within the last 20 minutes, I really like that play.
You said Bam under, correct?
Yes, Dime. Okay. Bam under 22.5.
Someone in the chat is saying, yeah.
Who's gonna miss the odds?
James got me scared here.
So is this a straight top down from you, Matt, or is this a little bottom up validation too?
This is the bottom up with a little top down validation. Yeah. So Penny FanDuel just jumped to -130. We locked in -118.
Nice. Did you get it? Did you get it, Dimes?
Yep,
that was definitely Dimes.
Over and under.
Okay.
Over and under.
Just kidding. Yeah, Bam at minus 130 now. Nice snag on stream. Model play.
Yeah, we missed the morning grind, so I figured I had to throw one out there.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah, dude,
one.
Math, I miss it, man, but I haven't been playing the morning grind just because it's so hard to get all the bets.
So
Yeah,
right. The one thing it's honestly a little inconsistent, but did you have Onyx odds yet?
I haven't, no.
Did they? So early in the morning, they are the same lines as DraftKings, and the limits are, I think, $250 max bets. It's like the same thing.
And that's a sweepstakes, so you don't
Yeah.
have to like get matched or anything.
Correct. So it's the same thing as
Okay,
Fliff, basically.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that because
so-
Fliff has been dead for the past like month or two.
So even if you're not playing Jeff's plays and you're using that like Pinnacle DVIG, like you're obviously for NBA player props in the morning, you're going to probably see a ton of plays on DraftKings that you're probably not getting much money down on. Just look at Onyx. You have to get up early, and get these in because Onyx starts on the same line as DraftKings. But I think later in the day, as they're seeing action, they move off of it. So, and
I mean, during the week, I'm up at like 5:15 every day now. So
that's good. And I've said this multiple times to Jeff too, because we're all East Coast, is like we're up at 5 placing bets. That means West Coast, it's like 2 a.m. So we have a huge advantage from living on the East Coast, I think, to play like early morning stuff. Because a lot of the prop lines don't even drop until penny lines don't drop until like, I don't know, sometimes 5:30, 6. So it's good timing. Here's a weird one. See if we can get a tennis bet in on Bally. I don't know what they'd let me hit here. Rye's just so jealous seeing me like jump into this Bally book every time.
it's just like crazy to me on it. Like I can't wrap my head around the fact that I'm way more heavily limited there than you are. But I mean, I obviously understand why, but because we've talked about it. But
I'm pretty sure I'm actually down on them.
I'm definitely down on them.
Let's see. Sports books. Oh yeah, maybe beating them like 66% of the time, but just this is how you do it, right? You just lose money and they let you keep betting. This is what makes no sense though. It's like I'm losing on the softest book there is out there, and then just like every other book is just green.
Yeah, that's what's crazy about DraftKings is like in spite of their limits, I've still managed to profit on them by far the most this year.
Yeah, it's like
definitely shout out to EV Adam for that a little bit because we got his specialty plays from NBA, but
yeah, he gives out some good plays. How are you feeling about the Sox this year, right?
Feeling good. I mean, I wish for a better outcome yesterday, but I like the way they look. I like the makeup of the roster. We actually added a real pitcher this year with Crochet, so
yeah, I think we're sitting pretty good.
Hoping that a couple of young guys like Rafaela and Abreu have breakout years. I cashed Abreu's first home run of the season, so that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I was on that one too. Yeah, he's hitting the ball real good. Didn't he go like 3 for 3 yesterday or 2 for 2 early on?
Yeah, I wish he hit another home run yesterday, but it's all good.
I had a parlay with him last leg was the home run. That would have been big.
Yeah, I went like over on home runs yesterday after having a huge opening day. So
yeah, here's a question that was in the Discord, but V11 VR asked. I think this was from a while ago, an hour ago almost, so she's probably not even here, but I'll answer it anyway. I wouldn't be moving $100 a day for the card. I think it's more for when you get limited and you have a lot of money to move. That's when I would start using the Edge card. Otherwise, I probably just wouldn't worry about it if that's what the question was. Here's one. Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about ESPN maybe going out of business here and leaving. Have you guys heard that?
No, wouldn't that be like the third time that book went under?
Yeah, it was like Barstool and then ESPN.
I
Yeah,
think
I've heard.
it was bought by PenBet, right?
Yeah,
When Barstool went under, and then
Well,
they
Penn
became
owned
ESPN.
Barstool.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
So it's always been a Penn. It's Penn Entertainment, but it's always been Penn National Gaming.
So they just been rebranding.
and bought
Rebranding. Yep. So it's just a marketing deal with ESPN. Before that, they actually owned Barstool completely.
I mean, man, ESPN was just giving away money with the promos at the end of last year, so it's not surprising that they're not doing that well.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people in the industry saying like, you give the sports betting market 5 years, and we're probably looking at like 3 or 4 books that make it through. Like, there's no way. To me, there's no way like a Bally Bet is making it. There's no way like some of these small books are making it. Like, we're probably going to look at like FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, and MGM are like the only books that make it, in my opinion. There's just not enough market share for all of these books. Like, if I was a rec better, I would have FanDuel or DraftKings only, and I wouldn't be betting anywhere else. And if all their income comes from rec betters, like, how are these small books going to make it?
I mean, I have friends that still only use DraftKings. So
Exactly.
Their interface is, to me, the best one. So like that's kind of what I got used to, is just kind of betting with ease, and that was no line shopping at the time, just whatever's easiest.
Yeah, like if you're from Massachusetts and you're using Bally Bet as like your one rec book, like what the hell are you doing? Like, the book sucks for promos, it sucks for interface. Like, the only people that are betting are probably sharp bettors, and they're gonna win money. Unless you're me, you might just.
I don't know if we're good examples of that, but
yeah.
Although I don't consider myself a sharp bettor, so
which is why Bet365 is having to limit people before they can place a bet.
Now let's go back to plays.
I just played something on Caesars. I wonder if it's still there. Yeah,
I
just played it because it was 3 sharps on Caesars.
This play still good. Plus 105. Fair value is plus 100. Yeah, it's dead. Caesars had a play.
I played that one there. I like the EV percentage. No line movement right now. But,
yeah, it's hard to tell with this chart crossing 0 what's going on.
There's a decent looking total on ESPN right now. I don't know if it's still there, but the Nets Wizards over 217.
Load it up, see if it's there. Yeah, Pinnacle dropped pretty hard. Looks like ESPN bounced up and down. Also kind of a hard chart to read, but let's see if it's there.
Yeah, they're minus 130. That is one thing about ESPN, is they're pretty quick to adjust their odds.
Yeah, you got to catch them fast. Here's one that looks decent. 76ers plus 5.5 first half spread. FanDuel just opened up. I like to see the sharp book open up after the retail book, because it makes me feel like FanDuel's pretty confident they already know Pinnacle is sitting at this line and number. So to open up a new line at like minus 122, kind of know they're exposing themselves to the market. So interesting play, but the EV is high enough. I'd probably take this.
Oof. I guess I need to give an apology to the Golf Plays Only channel.
Yeah,
11 bets settle as a loss this morning. So
Maybe killed at the last tournament. No apology.
How many did you play? How many did you send out?
now, I mean, let's see. Of these, I don't know what people would have taken. There's a matchup that most people probably took. The other one was just finishing positions and stuff. But
Yeah,
I don't know. It does feel like this weekend has been a little bit down compared to what I've experienced the last few weekends. And so
I choose the right day to take all your DPW plays, because the same day as opening day, I took like pretty much everything you put out there, and it added to my success that day. So
Awesome.
I I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, and I think once the golf bot's up and running, I think we're gonna get a lot of members happy to have access to those plays and not just waiting for a few people to post in it. So,
Yeah, I'm
Golf is
excited
gonna be
excited for that and for some more KBO and some WNBA.
mhm.
Yeah, that 76ers first half pinged earlier at plus minus 108. I did actually grab that at minus 108. So where are we now? Minus 122. So yeah, market's definitely moving towards them. So nice. I almost want to list. So it's not like FanDuel just opened, or maybe they did just open their first half market. No, they didn't because they had minus 108. But it's the first time they opened up a plus 5.5 line. So I'd almost like to do it how we do the college box, where we see like the main line that FanDuel was priced at, see how it moves. But it's something to think about for the future. Because this isn't necessarily an opener. It's just that they opened up plus 5.5 for the first time, but we don't know if they came from 6.5 or they came from 4.5, which is a big.
Is that their alternate? Is that an alternate spread, or is that their main now?
It's a good question. It's minus 122, so
it's probably an alt.
It's
right?
probably an alt.
Yeah, I just looked at a graph, and it's a pretty flat line for that spread right now on Pinnacle at least.
All right, we got any more questions? I think that's it. All right, I think we'll wrap it up there. It's been an hour and 15 minutes, pretty solid stream. You guys got anything else to add, or should I close this thing out?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you next time. Should be back on next Saturday. Hopefully we can see some of these faces again. Great having you guys on. Thanks for watching.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks.
See ya.